All right, guys, now we are going to look at the difference between first-hand accounts and second-hand accounts with some example texts. So for the text I've chosen this week, these are some actual fourth grade level milestones question passages. They are really high quality, and I think you guys will enjoy the information that comes from them. Like I've told you before, they don't choose these passages for nothing. You can get something out of them. So let's tune into these texts and dig deep to see why one is a first-hand account and one is a second-hand account. Let's start with zookeepers. All right, the first heading says, what is this job like? So I can tell from the heading that the information below is going to tell me what the job of a zookeeper is like. We got to use our headings to inform how we read and understand the text. So let's get started. Many people like animals, but taking care of them is hard work. Zookeepers take care of wild animals in zoos and animal parks. They feed the animals, clean their living spaces, and work to keep them healthy. Zookeepers watch the animals to see if they're sick or hurt. Keepers is a shortened form of the word zookeepers, need to watch and listen carefully to notice any changes in behavior. Keepers write detailed notes about each animal and tell a veterinarian if there is a problem. Some keepers give the animals objects to play with and explore. Many animals like playing with logs, sandboxes, and even water sprinklers. Keepers often hide food for the animals to find. Playing with food and toys helps animals stay active. Sometimes keepers train the animals to make caring for them easier. For example, keepers train elephants to lift their feet so that veterinarians can check them. Teaching people about animals is another keeper task. Keepers answer people's questions and give presentations. People who love animals are often attracted to jobs that allow them to work with animals. Keepers enjoy getting to know the animals. They also like helping with research. They learn how to help endangered animals in the wild. Zookeeping can be a dirty job. Keepers have to clean exhibit areas. Many keepers work outside in rain, heat, and all sorts of other weather. They sometimes carry heavy containers of food, and because animals eat every day, most keepers work on weekdays and weekends and holidays. Zoo work can also be dangerous. Wild animals can bite, kick, scratch, or spread disease. Keepers almost never pet the animals. How do you get ready? So, this heading is making me think that the information below is going to be about how you prepare to be a zookeeper. So let's see if I'm right. Many keepers go to college for 2 or 4 years. They often study biology, animal science, or some other science. Keepers also need to understand math so that they can measure food properly. Keepers need good writing and speaking skills so that they can take notes and talk to the public. Keepers need experience caring for animals. Before working at a zoo, many keepers work in veterinary offices, animal shelters, or farms. In those jobs, they clean animal cages and feed, watch, and care for animals. Experience in a zoo is also good. Many keepers start as zoo volunteers. Looks like I was right. That is how you prepare to be an animal or a zookeeper. Now the next heading says, how much does this job pay? Sounds pretty straightforward. In June 2010, animal caretakers had an average yearly wages of $19,780 or $9.51 per hour. That's not a lot. Just my personal opinion. How many jobs are there? In 2010, there were about 234,900 animal care and service workers. A very small number of these worked as zookeepers. What about the future? Employment of animal care and service workers is expected to grow much faster than the average for all occupations through 2018, but jobs as zookeepers are expected to grow more slowly than other animal care jobs. Jobs for zookeepers are harder to find than other kinds of animal jobs because there are relatively few zoos. Plus, many people want zoo jobs, so there's a very strong competition for the work. There are other good jobs for people who love to work with animals. Some people go to school to become veterinarians, veterinary assistants, or animal caretakers or farm and animal shelters. To learn more, read about these different jobs to see if one might interest you. Okay. So then we learned that this text was adapted from the United States Bureau of Labor Statistics. Ooh, good stuff. All right. Now, our second text is a letter. So, looks like the letter is to an Uncle Lewis, and it's written by Martha. Let's see what this letter has to offer and see if we think it's a first-hand account or a second-hand account. Dear Uncle Lewis, I just finished my first day as a zookeeper. It was fun and interesting, but I am exhausted. I spent the morning cleaning the elephant barn. I had to sweep out the barn and refill the feeders with fresh hay. Those elephants ate so much. After lunch, I observed the monkeys in their exhibits. My job was to write detailed notes about how they played. Surprisingly, it rained the entire time I stood there. My notes were sopping wet. It's a good thing I like the outdoors. By the time I went home, I'd fed over 20 different animals. Even though my whole Saturday was spent at the zoo, I felt good about making a difference for the animals. My goal as a zookeeper is to eventually help with the animal training. As a trainer, I would get to work more closely with the animals. However, I need more experience because this type of work can be dangerous. I'm looking forward to working more days at the zoo. Maybe you can come see me at work someday soon. Love, Martha. Okay, so just to review, first-hand accounts are in first-person point of view. They tell things that the person saw or experienced. They might describe the emotions that the person felt, and they might tell about some memories. Second-hand accounts are written from third-person perspective. They give facts and information. There is no first-person pronoun in a second-hand account. So, if I'm just using that bare minimum information to determine which one is a first-hand account and which one is a second-hand account, I'm going to say this one is the first-hand account because I see so many first-person pronouns. We got I see a my down here, and then right here, she said that she was exhausted, and that's an emotion or a feeling, but she did give some information too, so we know that this is an informational text. But those feeling words, the first-person pronouns, those tell me that this is a first-hand account. This person experienced being a zookeeper. Now up here, zookeepers, this is a second-hand account. So, through all this information, the author never once told about something that they experienced. They just gave us information and facts. There are no first-person pronouns. This is a second-hand account, and this is a first-hand account. So now that you've seen an example of each and you know the difference between the two, I'd like you to attempt your little assessment for today. And when you turn it in, be sure to click Turn In on Google Classroom so that I know to go ahead and look at your work, or Miss Julie will know to go looking at your work if you're in Miss Julie's class. All right, I've enjoyed teaching y'all today. I can't wait to see what you learned. Have an awesome week.